Hello everybody on YouTube, this is Super Nintendo, and welcome to a video. Sorry I'm not using my character stills this time, but I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out quickly because there is something that has come out that honestly I wasn't expecting. So, for those not in the know, Sega has been releasing information on a new Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers. Now, to kind of get my thoughts on the game itself out of the way, it looks bad. It really looks bad.
You are the key. I'm here, reaching for across these new frontiers. With my life, this fear. In my hands, I hold the ones I love. Walk forward through the showtime. Always to new horizons.
It doesn't look like there's any momentum whatsoever aside from rocketing off into space because there's no like physics in air, I guess. The game itself looks really bad. Very good idea, but very bad. It doesn't look like there's like any level design whatsoever aside from in the more linear cyberverse levels, I think is what they refer to them as. And yeah, like the voice acting just looks, it sounds like very, very rough. And when they announced that they were going to be making a couple of prologue things, a prologue comic and a prologue animation, I was very much like, just put the thing in the game. Stop trying to pull a Sonic Forces and just put your story in other places. It's so stupid. Why do you do this? I didn't read the comic because I don't care. But I did watch the prologue animation. And I was very surprised at how good it was. So, the prologue animation is about pretty much a day in the life of Knuckles the Echidna. For context, for the last 20 or so years, ever since, I think Sonic 06 was the first one to start this, but he's been very brain-dead stupid for a long time. The Boom version of Knuckles kind of exemplifies this, but he has been this stupid in the mainline games, where he actually has to go, like, where Sonic's like, you guys head left, hold on, give me a minute. Got it! And it's like, he does shit like that all the time. And, of course, like, I have a hard time discerning East and West a lot of the time, but it's not the fact that he does shit like this, it's the fact that they make him so brain dead stupid to a point where, like, they make him both stupid and arrogant. And I've heard people defend this by saying, oh, he's been tricked by Eggman multiple times, of course he'd had to be stupid to do that. No, there's a big difference between being stupid and being gullible. You can be, like, fairly intelligent and still be tricked fairly easily. You know? Knuckles being tricked is a consistent character trait. Well, at least it was for a little while. To my knowledge, he's only been tricked, like, twice by Eggman. Maybe that happened more in, like, some of the spin-off games, but, like, in the mainline home console releases, it's only happened twice. It's only happened in Sonic 3 and in Sonic Adventure. So, I don't really get why people make such a big deal out of it. But, Anyway, to kind of wrap up this context thing, Knuckles is the guardian of the Master Emerald, a very powerful jewel with seemingly infinite power that has strong ties with not only a god of destruction, not only with his people, but also with the 7 Chaos Emeralds. These 7 gems that have, again, supposedly infinite power. Although, for some reason, the Master Emerald is even more powerful than they are, but maybe they mean unlimited as in, like, there is an unlimited supply of energy, but the quality of the energy is not exactly infinite. I don't know. Sonic goes really back and forth on this all the time. But anyway. For a long time, Knuckles has not been guarding the Master Emerald. And it has been a very consistent frustration for Sonic fans the world over for such a long time. And here, in this prologue animation, not only do we get him on his island guarding his emerald, not only is Knuckles fairly intelligent, he's back to how he's supposed to be. He's a serious loner who wants to do things his own way because he believes it is his fate to guard the Master Emerald alone. And he almost kind of thinks it's some form of karma. And to kind of showcase that he isn't like the classic not classic, the modern version of Knuckles, where he is just brain dead stupid. They showcase that he is kind of an archaeologist a little bit. Like, he's able to instantly discern after finding this little glowing gear and finding this this ancient structure that is like, this ancient structure looks so much older than the rest of these ruins. So he places the thing on there and gets teleported away and instantaneously realizes, this is not Angel Island. This is not the Sky Sanctuary. I've been transported someplace. And he is shown to be very strong too. He is very confident in his own abilities. A little too cocky, but that's always been Knuckles to some extent. He does kind of believe himself to be rougher than the rest of them, the best of them, tougher than leather. So, like, it was great seeing him fighting against these robotic creatures that are going to be enemies in Sonic Frontiers. And he comes across this giant, colossal titan thing with one of the main villains, or one of the new characters in Frontiers, by the name of Sage. This little glitchy girl who reminds me a lot of Tatsumaki from my One Punch Man. And, you don't see him getting defeated, but you see the aftermath where he's, like, stuck in this pod as, like, this ethereal data mind, almost like Data Ghost, essentially. And you see him kind of, you hear, like, this little inner monologue of him being like, I'm alone, and that's how I prefer it. I work by myself. But sometimes, and it cuts off there, but you know that he's like, sometimes my own power isn't enough, or something along those lines. And to kind of backtrack a little bit, most of the animation is just kind of him exploring the ruins and talking about how, like, he always surveys the land for weaknesses, for new pathways. And there's a lot of Chow on Angel Island, which I find very fascinating because we haven't seen these things in like 20 years. So, like, there's a lot of these things, and it's kind of indicated that Knuckles takes care of them. Like, one of my favorite moments is where one of them is trying to fly up to get some fruit, but for whatever reason, they can't fly up high enough to get it. So, Knuckles, he just walks by and just, like, he just punches the tree, and the fruit falls down on the Chow. And the Chow's, like, he's kind of disoriented a little bit because he just got hit in the head with a fruit. But, not only is it not indicated that the Chow itself was actually hurt, just kind of, like, you know, it was, like, just, like, flicked in the head, basically. But the Chow got food out of it, you know? And so, I could imagine some people being like, see, Knuckles is an asshole. He just abused that little baby Chow. This isn't like in the Sonic Team Racing animation where they have Shadow just be a grumpy douchebag and he just, like, after losing the race, he just, like, slumps in the thing and is just, like, stealing some popcorn from some Chow and whatever. It's like, no, Knuckles is taking care of this thing. And there's a point later where Knuckles is climbing some floating fixture in the Sky Sanctuary, which is great to see back in animation form, especially how it relates to Angel Island. He's busy doing something, right? But then he I guess he senses or hears a Chow trying to get some mask that looks a lot like the little stone Korok things that are going to be in Frontiers. And Knuckles is like, he just drops what he's doing and he's like, hey, what's wrong, little guy? And it's, oh, you're trying to get something. Well, I'll help you out. Boom! And he just punches the thing. And he punched a little too hard, so like the Chow gets hit with some debris or something. He's like, oh, sorry, little guy. Here you go. Here's what you were after. It's like, it's great stuff. I really was very pleasantly surprised that Knuckles is finally back to how he's supposed to be. And not only that, the animation of this is honestly pretty good. It looks very similar to the Sonic Team Racing style, but a bit more refined. I was very surprised that they didn't try to throw in a whole lot of nostalgia pandering music. Actually, I don't think there was any nostalgia pandering music at all. But I was very surprised at this, and it really got me wondering, could Sega have finally gotten their shit back together? Because for such a long time now, the Sonic franchise has been on a download slope. A lot of people debate on where that slope actually started. Personally, I think it was Shadow the Hedgehog that really started it. But, like, Shadow the Hedgehog as a game, I think is fine, but the writing for the game is god-awful, and everybody knows it. Sonic 06, its writing I don't think is terrible. It's clearly like a first or second draft. Like, if they had the time to refine the script a little bit to fix it, I feel like it would have been good. But the gameplay, everybody knows about the gameplay reasons for why that game is so terrible. But ever since Shadow the Hedgehog, and I guess you could say 06, the franchise has been in this downward slump, and it hasn't really been able to recover. Like, I even went back to play some of the later games that I happen to own. I got Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, Sonic Generations, over on that shelf over there. And none of those are really all that good. None of them are really good at all. And I don't know. Like, I feel like Colors and Generations, they're not horrible as games. Like, they're not horrible, but they're not good either. And I feel like a lot of people just give them slack because of how many bad games we had leading up to it. The only good Sonic game that Sega themselves made, that Sonic Team themselves made, that has come out ever since Sonic Heroes, is Sonic and the Black Knight. And I will stand by that for however long it takes. We're coming up on 2023 now, at the time of recording this. It has been almost 20 years since we've had a good Sonic game, not counting Black Knight and Sonic Mania, but I don't give them credit for Mania because they didn't make it. It's been almost 20 years at the time of recording this since Sonic Heroes. The last truly good Sonic game that we got Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes. That was the last that was the string of quality Sonic games, not counting spin-offs like Sonic Pinball, Spinball, whatever. Not counting spin-offs like that. That was the string of quality. After that, it just nosedived, and it never really recovered aside from Black Knight. And so, like, this franchise has just depressed me for so long that I didn't want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I was looking at the trailers, at everything, and just seeing how bad it was. The only good thing to come out of this franchise since the only good things to come out of this franchise since then have been the comics and the movies. Sonic 1 and 2, those were great. Those are fantastic movies. I don't know why the second one gets as much hate as it does, but the comics have been really, really good. One of my friends sends me scans of the comics all the time, and I get to read them, and like, okay, the storytelling is not exactly fantastic, and it's very clear with certain characters, Shadow the Hedgehog, that the Sega mandates are very much still in effect, especially with other characters like Eggman. It really is just a constant frustration for me. But with the characters that Isaac, what's his name? Whoever's writing the current comics, he's writing the next Sonic game. I don't remember his name at the moment, but he's the one writing this stuff, and it is honestly very telling. If he's the one who wrote this prologue, which I think he is, because I think that's what it said in the credits, we might be in good hands. We might be seeing a true Sonic Renaissance, because like people like to say, oh, we've been in a Sonic Renaissance ever since Unleashed or Colors or whatever, but no. That wasn't a Sonic Renaissance. That was an embarrassment. That was just horrible. I think maybe, in terms of the writing anyway, we might be seeing a true Sonic Renaissance. It's possible. I don't want to put all my chips on that card just yet. But this prologue, it's given me something that I haven't had in this franchise, relating to this franchise, for a long time. It's given me a small glimmer of hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, this franchise might actually be getting back on track. Hope that maybe Sega might actually be seeing the problem with Sonic and trying to make an honest effort to fix it. Sonic is one of the franchises that, to me, is very important. It's a franchise that is very important to me and is one of my top 5 favorite franchises ever. And it's not because of everything from Shadow onward. It's primarily because of the adventure era. And I kind of see the Black Knight as an extension of that era. But the bad of this franchise has pissed me off, has depressed me for so long that it's honestly like the modern Dragon Ball stuff, how it's like just so bad, but I know it can be so much better. And no one involved really gave a shit. So, but like at least with modern Dragon Ball, they have good concepts. Ultra Instinct is fantastic. There's little glimmers of quality in Super, as surprising as it is to say. Sonic didn't have that. Like, I looked at Sonic, and it was just this depressing void of anything meaningful, anything good. And I'm sorry if this is getting kind of rambly, but I feel like this section is kind of important to get my thoughts across, like how I have been feeling on this franchise for so long. Dragon Ball, modern Dragon Ball had some good things about it. It had some good concepts. It had at least the excuse that the franchise hadn't had anything for so long that you could probably excuse being like, oh, well, the thing was put together in a rush. The people writing it don't remember how the characters are supposed to be. And such like that. It had that. These weren't great excuses, especially after Super has been going on for as long as it has. Sonic has been a constant thing, though, for so long, and the fact that the franchise has devolved and stayed devolved for so long just really not hurt me, but it felt very depressing. Like a childhood friend who you were best friends with, you knew everything about them. And while you grew up, you developed as a person, gaining new skills, new knowledge, new whatever. Instead of growing up too, instead of bettering themselves, they just became hobos, depressed to look at, and trying so desperately to regain the glory days, trying so hard to be like how they used to be. But they can't do it. They don't remember the magic, the true spark that they used to have. But if this prologue means anything, maybe, just maybe, that friend has taken a good long look at themselves and is making an honest effort to be better. Taking things maybe one step at a time. Like I said, I don't want to put all my chips on that card just yet, because I have felt like this before about this franchise. Every time it seems like Sega gets their shit together, they just relapse. So I don't want to put all my chips on that just yet, because there's still time for them to relapse. But if they can get their shit together and truly, and I mean truly, make an honest effort to be better, then maybe this franchise will regain some of its lost glory. I don't want to hate this franchise. I don't want to hate Dragon Ball or Sonic or Oddworld. I don't want to hate them. I love these franchises for a reason. So I want to believe that Sega will get their shit together. I really do. This might be a glimmer of hope, but a glimmer can be snuffed out. We'll just have to wait and see what happens in the future. And if anyone from Sega is watching this, please, for the love of Hylia, for the love of Tikal, for the love of Chaos, don't fuck up. Don't do it again. I cannot take another one of... I cannot take another Sonic Forces. I cannot take another Sonic Heroes. Or not Sonic Heroes. Sonic Colors. I cannot take another Sonic Colors. Please. Please. Make your games good. At the very least, get good writing. Make the writing of your games good. Make them fun. Make them cool again. In the description for Sonic's biography, his bio, whatever, in all these games, you always say Sonic is a carefree spirit who goes wherever the wind may take him. He's as swift as the wind. And he has a steadfast heart, always looking for adventure. But for the last 20 years, he hasn't been. He's been standing. He has been just standing around doing nothing. He doesn't really seem concerned with doing what he thinks is cool. He's not this cool blue dude with attitude anymore. He's just a cocky asshole. And there's a big difference between that, but I don't want to make this video go on longer than this, but please don't fumble this. I've been Super Nintendo, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
70-centimeter square window.
The skies a bit clearer today, the rain has passed me by. I went and opened up the window again, I can't remember why. The sighs that I kept pinned to the walls have flown out of the room. Soon I'll find my way to you. I have